Today, we're talking to one of my buddies, Jerred Morris, about how to build a business and make money online without needing a following or a college degree. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Brandon Lucero, and you're about to experience the new way to thrive in business, entrepreneurship, and life by leaning into who you are, what you love, and standing up for what you want to create. Get ready, because this is where we go against the grain, say no to outdated society norms, and we say yes to change in order to create a happier, more fulfilled world. Welcome to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. Today we have a special guest who actually was the very first customer of Sold with Video. Jerred, I don't know if you knew that or not, but yeah, you were the very first customer. He is someone who's become a really good friend and someone who I go to for advice on basically how to make money. The reason why I'm really excited for Jerred to be on the show today is because he's not someone like a James Wedmore or a Kerry Green who has a massive following online. He's actually very quiet, but he's very willing to go and help people, but he also makes a good amount of money. So Jerred, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So I'm really excited. I don't know if you knew this, but did you know you were the first customer to Sold with Video ever?
Yes, you never told me that, but like randomly, I think we were going on a hike or something. And I remember we were chatting, I don't know, on one of those hikes that we did. And then you were like, yeah, actually you were my first paying, like legitimate client.
Yeah.
Never knew it.
Like, I guess I was doing like the family and friends type of thing, and some of them paid me, but it was that you were the very first client that I actually like put a marketing effort online, and then someone came and bought. That was you. And I remember like I was on Bigger Pockets and I kept talking about like, here's how you do stuff with video. And then it was a video SEO, and you came in and you bought. And ever since that moment, we've kind of developed a friendship and become really good friends. But for everyone who doesn't know who you are, can you give people a little background of, I guess, what it is that you actually do and how you got into this whole, like, what I call new generation of entrepreneurship?
Sure. So what do I actually do? I guess if you're like a traditional business person, I do real estate. If you're young and you're in like the digital marketing space, basically what I do is I find underserved niches, and then I explore those markets and I try to find edge, meaning I try to find competition that doesn't know what they're doing. The market that they're serving is underutilized or underserved. And then I look at the competition, how competitive are they online? And when those things line up, then I look for if it's a reoccurring revenue model, or if it's a high ticket item that would have a large payout. I don't do anything in the middle. I stay away from the middle. Too competitive, you're razor thin margins. And if you're going to put in the time to do it, then you have to look at what's the best payout or what you have like the most passion for. I just find the middle just not intriguing, not interesting.
Gotcha.
So personal preference, I just stay away from it. So you'll always see me gravitate towards recurring revenue, even though it might be a $50 item, $100 item. That's okay, as long as I have constant repeat business coming through the door, or single large ticket item.
Can you give us some examples of businesses that you've had or done in the past that have like both either recurring or high ticket?
Sure. So real estate, I think, is kind of self-explanatory. I mean, pretty high ticket item. And you have to understand that when you're dealing with hundreds of thousands of dollars, your 2%, 5%, or 20% is a lot of money compared to a $10 ticket. If you're making 10% or 20%, you're making $2, right? Versus if you did 10 or 20 on a $200,000 single family or a commercial building, you're going to be paid way more money for your time and effort. When it comes to recurring revenue, I'd say my favorite recurring revenue, I have two. One is I started a credit card processing business back in like 05, 06. And till this day, they still send me my residuals.
Oh my gosh.
For 15 years, they send me residuals every month, and I just laugh, and I'm always waiting for them to like cancel me and say, hey, this is over. But they just ACH the money every month. And then secondly, I would say, you know, any type of like intellectual property. So digital marketing, SEO, maps, AdWords, video, any of those phenomenal revenue streams.
Gotcha. Did you go to college for anything? I don't know. I think I even
Barely,
asked. Did you graduate
barely.
college
So
or no?
yes. So I went to university, graduated, but only reason I went is it was free.
Mm,
So in Georgia, they have the, I live in Austin, Texas now, but when I grew up in Atlanta, but they did the lottery. And with the lottery, they basically said, hey, you're going to give students free tuition. And it was called the Hope Scholarship. So as you had to have a 3.0 or better. So I graduated with 3.0 and then school was free. So I was like, well, why not? I mean, it's free. Like,
yeah.
just go in there, get the education, get your little certificate and leave.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how I treated it. Even if I kind of want to talk about university, I'm not a big fan.
Yeah.
I never have been. I've been through it. You don't leave there with anything that's applicable.
Right.
You might, I would say, in my 4 years, I can narrow down to 2 classes that actually had impact. Like meaningful impact. Like I took it, I applied it, and I succeeded with it.
Right.
That's it. Everything else, waste of time.
Well, and that's the whole thing is like, I'm a kind of against college, but not really. Like if you really want to go, then go. I think it's a great experience for those 4 years to be out on your own and different things like that. I also think there's some jobs that if you're super passionate about a certain job and you need a college degree, go do it. But what I'm really against is like parents shoving their kids to college when their child doesn't know what they want to do, because again, it doesn't really allow you to think critically. It doesn't allow you to find the skills or get the knowing. And so what I love about you is that I was telling Matt before the show, you're kind of like what I would call like the non-hustling hustler. Like you're always looking for these opportunities and then you go and you learn the skills needed to master that opportunity, which most people don't do. But you're not a hustler in the sense of you're always like grinding, got to work hard. You're very smart about it. You find these like little opportunities, you learn the niche, you learn the thing, and then you go and you master it, and then you just repeat it if you want, or you move on to the next opportunity. And I think like learning how to actually make money and to go after things that you want would be an amazing thing for a lot of kids to learn. But I think they have to learn that skill that you have to like, it's not even really a skill, I guess, but it's like you have to think critically and you have to understand you need to actually go out and master it and learn it, you know? And I remember when we first met, you were actually finding, like, you're buying homes for cash and then you would like flip them or rent them out or anything like that. How did you get into like buying homes for cash? And when you do that, are you buying it with all your own cash? How does that whole thing work?
Sure. Real simple. So I cut my teeth online in real estate, and I developed basically just basic lead gen websites that drove off-market distressed homeowners to basically call me and say, hey, I need to sell my house. They're embarrassed. They don't want to work with a realtor. They don't want people walking through their home. They just want to sell it for cash. So I came up with the idea, but we have to go back in like mid 2000s, early 2000s. I ran an online supplement company. Randomly met, I had some friends that actually make the supplements, so I knew where to get them. And I knew the product was selling like crazy. And then I randomly met a guy named Sean Webb, runs a company called Pixel Kings. And he was like, hey, I'll do you a deal, $500. I'll create a website for you. Super nice guy in Atlanta. So I was like, great, I'm in. Create this little website. And within 60 days, I'm making 15,000 net a month.
Jeez.
And I'm not even leaving the house.
Like
work.
How are you making that money? What were you doing?
Selling supplements. So I sold on weight loss, just weight loss supplements online. That's it.
But how are you driving traffic and stuff like that?
Clueless. I had no SEO background. I had nothing. So what I did
is put the site up.
Put the site up, and then they had all these little feeder sites back then, like Shopzilla. And there was all these like weird, like quasi like eBay store things, but not really. And then if you could do paid advertising, and then if you paid for the clicks, it would kind of rank. And then Sean, that was back when MySpace. So Sean had this like bootleg thing to basically spam MySpace. All right. So I'm making great money as it is, just doing organic. Okay.
Yeah.
So Sean's like, hey, if you don't care about your MySpace listing, which I don't care about MySpace, he was like, we can just blow up your listing, your personal account by using this. Like they'll shut you down after 30 or 60 days of doing this.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't care. Just do it. And like literally 2 days later, 1,000 orders.
Oh my God.
Spamming MySpace nonstop, right? So I'm like, yeah, just keep doing that. I don't care if we need to make fake accounts. Just keep doing that too, as long as this continues to work. So that's where I learned like the power. I know it's kind of cliche, but like the power of like the internet or power of online.
Right.
You have tremendous reach, and you can generate tremendous amounts of revenue with a product, an idea, or a service. But very bare bones. I mean, bare bones website. It had 3 pages. It eventually started to rank. I had no idea how to rank. I couldn't even begin to tell you. I just did random things. If they worked, I kept them. If they didn't work, I dumped them, went on to the next one. And then from that, I generated a bunch of revenue. So now I have a bunch of cash in the bank, and I have no idea what to do with my money. But I know I don't want to spend it on cars and random items. So this is now going to put me like 07, 08, 09. So it's like, man, all these homes are on sale. Why don't I just stuff some of my money in rental properties? So I started buying rental properties. Have no idea what I'm doing, and paid too much, by the way. But they cash flowed a little bit each month. So I learned that, got tired of Atlanta, moved to Austin. But I always remember my online business with the supplements. And then I was like, okay. And then the real estate thing worked for me. And I was like, man, this is interesting. You can actually pay too much, kind of not know what you're doing, but still make money in real estate. So I was like, I kind of like this niche because it's kind of dumb, right? You don't have to be super sophisticated.
So can I ask a question about the real estate? When you bought those first rental properties, did you do the traditional route of like getting a real estate agent, buying the house, then renting it out? Yes. Is that what you did? Okay.
Yeah. Horrible. Okay. Just to let you know, horrible. Way overpaid.
Yeah.
The house that we bought was probably worth, when I bought it, I should have offered, if I had the knowledge, I should have offered between 45 and 55,000 for the house. I paid 80. Just like bad buy, right? Yeah. But here's the deal. It made money every month. It cash flowed every month. And then when we turned around and sold it, we made, I think like 44,000 on the deal. So again, if you don't have to be crazy intelligent, you don't have to be perfect when you do it, because of how real estate works. So
let me, from that, I want to talk about 2 things real quick. Number 1 is I hope you listening and picking up on what Jerred's saying. And I'm just going to recap it because he's did something that is probably pretty easy to look over. But he said when he was doing the supplement site, he's like, I just kept trying a bunch of things and I dumped what didn't work and I did what did work. And I think so many people are so afraid of failing, but they don't understand the failing is what breeds the success. So a lot of people look at that and go like, well, what if I try it and it doesn't work? You didn't even look at it as what if I tried it and it didn't work. You're just like, I just need to find what works. I'm going to go through a bunch of stuff that doesn't work to find what does. Then you said you went right into real estate, not knowing what you did. And these traits that Jerred has that he's talking about right now are some of the most vital traits that you can have for happiness, in my opinion, whether you want to go get that job that you want or to start the business that you want to do. Because I'm very much like Jerred. I just do it, and if it doesn't work, then I move on to something else. So I just want to pause real quick and make sure that is broadcasted to everyone listening, because it's a very important trait that I think has led you, Jerred, to where you are, and I know it's led me to where I am. So with that, let's pick up with the story. You sold the house. You made $42,000 at that point. Where do you go from there?
Okay. So now I'm in Austin, Texas, and I'm like, well, this worked and this was easy. Like I really didn't do anything. I bought a house and I got paid to sit around and wait. And then I got paid to sell it. So I was like, man, this is fantastic. This is better than a job. Like I'm not like doing hard laborious work. And then I didn't know it then, but what I was starting to learn that you don't have to work hard. Like you just have to do kind of the right things and figure things out, but you don't necessarily have to work 12, 15, 16-hour days and you don't have to do this 9 to 5 grind.
Right.
Not all the time. Now, sure, if you're broke, you don't have any money, well, cool. Suck it up. Go get 2 jobs, turn off your cable television, turn off all the garbage in your life, start stacking dollars, and then you can start applying those dollars to ideas, and then fall in love with the process. Don't fall in love with the outcome.
Yeah.
Because I think by the end of this, you'll see I just do the same dumb thing over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I'm not reinventing the wheel. I created a little site. It was 3 pages. I sold some dumb products that stated that you were going to lose weight online. Then I go to the next step, kind of like real estate. So what do? I marry real estate with a dumb website, and my websites are basic. There's nothing fantastic about my sites. There's nothing over the top. I don't pay people $20,000 to look at the user experience. I never go that deep. I just get the site up, put the content out there, rank the websites, do the basics, generate the leads, and that's all I care about. I just care about deal flow. I don't care about Instagram. I don't care about Facebook. I don't care about what people think of me. I don't care about other people's opinions about what I'm doing. I just stick with the process, and I always go to deal flow nonstop. I just want my phone to ring. I'll figure everything else out later. And I think that's where everyone fails. Well, they get into, I need a logo. I need, an attorney, a CPA. I need to go to these networking meetings. I need to do everything but, if you think it through, you're doing everything but getting your phone to ring. Yeah. And that's why almost everyone fails.
And that's what I've said this to Matt. I've said this to Taylor. Is like, I actually want to go, and I know I've mentioned this to you, I want to go start local businesses, because you look at local businesses out there and hardly any of them ever break like the 500,000 a year mark or the $1 million mark. And one of the reasons why is the business owner starts it because they know the trade or the skill that they're now selling, but they never learn the marketing. They never learn how to make the phone ring. And if you can learn how to make the phone ring, like you said, you can apply that to niche after niche, business after business. You learn the most important skill that most business owners don't take the time to actually learn, which is beautiful. Right. So a couple key things. Again, I'm just going to make sure the audience is actually like picking up what you're dropping, because you're dropping really great nuggets that I hope they're really picking up. So the first one we talked about is like you kept trying and doing things until you found what worked. The second one is you realize you didn't have to work hard in order to make money, and you love the journey. And that's been something for me, is like building this business, is that I've learned to love the journey. I love finding the struggles. I love figuring out, okay, I need the phone to ring. How do we do that? And figuring out the process of doing that. Now, how do we go and do it? And like, I just love the journey, because it's a beautiful thing that allows you to create an amazing business, the income you want. So 3 big takeaways so far. Tried everything. Wasn't afraid to fail. You realize you don't have to work hard, and you begin to really love the journey. So let's continue with the story at this point. Where did you go now after that?
Okay, so I create the website.
Yep.
Basic website, right? And then just so everybody can kind of get an idea of like a timeline. So I work on this website myself. I pay a lady. She did a horrible job to create the site. The code was atrocious, but I didn't know. Paid her $1,000. And I'm working full time, by the way. So I have a 9 to 5 job, just like everybody else, just grinding. Okay. So nights, weekends, I don't go out, I don't party, and I don't blow my money. I just work on the site. Now, the first deal I did, I made $115,000 profit.
When you say deal, what are you talking about when you say deal?
Yeah. So the first property that I bought via the website. So a lead came in. I answer the phone, or I look at the lead. I call the home seller. I go and I meet the seller. I make an offer on the property.
And this is like that distressed website thing. So you're looking like you want to sell your home for cash, like quick cash. Yeah. Okay, got it. Cool.
Yeah, real simple. So like sell your house fast. We buy houses. I buy houses.
Right.
Some people call it wholesaling. Some people say that they're real estate investors. Just take your label, use it however you want to use it. But basically, it's a single family home that's distressed. They want to sell for cash.
Got it.
Right. Took me 14 months to get that deal.
Wait,
14 months
meaning the website,
of working.
Like the website was up for 14 months, or once a lead came in, it took 14 months to close?
Website is up. I get 0 leads for literally 12 months.
Okay.
So everyone that thinks like, again, it's not hard what I did, but you have to have a little bit of work ethic. You have to be a little determined to figure these things out and fall in love with the process. Don't fall in love with the outcomes.
Right.
But because I built that site and then I built the paid traffic around it, once it started generating, so short term, I look like a bum.
Right.
I look like a guy that doesn't have any idea what they're doing because everybody else is like, oh, I bought 5 houses last month. And I did this and I did that. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't know. I'm not like, I'm staying focused.
Well, you didn't know what you were doing. This is your first deal.
Correct.
Like, this is your first thing.
Right.
But you did it anyways. Yeah.
But then the one thing in my mind, I went back to my website on the supplements and I said, the beautiful thing about that was it just generates. Right. Weekly, monthly, yearly, not whether I'm awake, I'm asleep, I'm on vacation. And I love that because if you don't do things like that, then you're always out running around and you have a finite amount of time during the day to do this. So you cap out quickly. So the people that came out the gate buying homes, my competitors, they look phenomenal in the short run, 3, 6, 9 months. But then the website starts working. And then the deals that I'm getting are 5 to 10 times more profitable than their deals. Yeah. So now they're doing 5 deals or 10 deals or whatever they're doing. I'm doing 1 and I'm making more money than their entire deal load because my website gets to the seller before any of them do. And then I do my first deal. And then here comes the next deal. And then now the website's cranking. But just know that the website didn't crank for 14 months.
Right.
So people always get excited to hear like, oh, you did really, really well in real estate. And then I tell them, yeah, but would you have hung around for 14 months working, spending money on something that wasn't giving you a reward in the short term? That's where everybody just, they hit the wall. And then what you do is you have that shiny object syndrome. You jump around. Yeah. Then you go to the next thing, but you only spend 90 days, maybe 6 months on it. And then you hop to the next one. You're not giving it enough time. So kind of goes back to what you spoke about earlier. I spend the time or the hustle that I spend, it's in finding the niche. Right. Just being like pretty open-minded, somewhat exploratory, just kind of looking at things until something lines up with what I want to do. And then I'm like, okay, I should learn this. Then once I learn it, then I'm like, okay, do I want to compete? And then if I say yes, then it's a go. We're going to create the website, rank it, and then we're going to push.
Yeah. And this is the stuff that I love the most. Like I was talking to Matt before the show, and I was kind of giving him a rundown of like what you do and everything and how you sell businesses. And I have another buddy who's sold a couple businesses and stuff too. And everyone gets so hung up on this idea of building a big multi-million-dollar company and then selling it for like 50, 100 million, 200 million, where like what you're doing is you're doing these things. You've learned the skill, you've learned a trade, you found an opportunity, but you're like either flipping a business or selling these homes and taking in 50, 200,000 or whatever it comes out to be. To me, that's like more exciting. Like I love that type of thing where it's very simple. And I think it's so overlooked. Like people just don't look for these short-term opportunities. And then if they hear like, there's going to be people that listen to this podcast and are like, oh, this sounds awesome. I'm going to go do it. And they're not going to do that 14-month period of trying to learn the skill. And I remember when I started Sold the Video, dude, it took like 4 years for us to finally hit the stride, like to be comfortable, to have what you would call the deal flow or the cash flow or the sales coming in. And so it does take that grind, but within that grind of loving the journey, you learn, and what I call it the knowing, you learn the skill that you need. You have that work ethic, and the journey starts to become a lot of fun. So my question to you is, when you were doing the deals that were getting bigger, like it took you 14 months and you said all the competitors were getting a bunch of deals, like 4 or 5, you came in and you were getting bigger deals. How were they getting deals? Were they doing SEO and different things too, and you just outranked them, or like what were they all doing?
So I used to get in arguments. I mean, not arguments, but basically discussions with my competitors, and they would be like, well, we do it this way, and this is why we do it this way, and we're doing all of these things. And I would always say, but you don't have anything. Yeah. You have zero. You have nothing.
What were the things?
No, I have this successful business. I make all this revenue. I was like, you have zero. You have nothing. I was like, remove yourself from the equation. What is left?
Yeah.
I said, you have no business. The only thing you have is a transaction. So what you're doing is you're running around and you're just doing transactions as fast as you can do them just to keep everything afloat. But you don't have like a machine that generates deal flow.
Right.
And if you don't have anything that generates deal flow, then when the economy ebbs and flows, you're going to get absolutely run over with the truck.
Yeah.
Because you can look really smart in markets that just go straight up. And the real estate market was going straight up. So everybody looked highly intelligent. Then the market started going sideways a couple years ago. All of my competitors went broke. Why? Because the deal flow dried up in the traditional sense. Then they have no deal flow. Then they have to start getting rid of their contractors, subcontractors, and their teams. And now they're doing skinnier and skinnier deals, and they're taking on more and more financial risk. None of them took their money and invested back in the business to create assets that generate deal flow, that make your phone ring.
Yeah.
So all of my, I would say a room of 100 in Austin, Texas, 3 of us remain.
Wow.
Everybody else has gone back to their 9-to-5 job, or they've lost all their money. Or
so what were they doing? Were they just like networking or sending out mailers or something? Or like, how did they get these deals?
Yeah, MLS, so multiple list service. So they just use a traditional realtor. Some were doing direct mail.
Got it.
But the reason that it was working is there was oversupply and lack of demand. So therefore, the deal flow was plentiful, which makes you think that you know what you're doing. Because if there's just so much of it, right, and there's not enough people to buy it all up, then everybody can get as much as they want until the supply contracts.
Right.
So supply contracts, demand continues to get higher and higher, which now you just have competition. It's just a supply and demand curve. Right. Competition comes in, deals get skinnier, you take more risk, you do something wrong, and instead of making money, now you're losing money. Then it just starts to unravel, and then they wind up giving it all back, or they quit.
Yeah. And this is why I love talking to you, because you have such a unique perspective on stuff that makes so much sense. And I remember when COVID hit and we were talking about that, and you're like, Brandon, just sit on your cash. Just sit on that cash. Give it 9 months. Just be patient. Sit on the cash. Yeah. He's like, because what you don't realize is people losing their jobs and all this stuff. He's like, we're not going to see a dip, because everyone's freaking out. The economy is going to go down, all this stuff. And you're like, give it 9 to 12 months. You have to wait for people to not have the amount of money, and but their spending is still going. So that's going to take a couple months for credit card debt to start stacking up. And then the mortgage is going to start stacking up. And then they can go a few more months after that. And then the bank will finally take their home. He's like, you won't see the effects of COVID until a year from now. He's like, you said just on your cash. I was like, damn, I never even thought about that at all. Like, I was just like, okay, I'm getting ready to go buy. And you're like, nope, don't do that. Just wait and sit on your cash. It's such a unique perspective, which only comes from the knowing. Like, you've done this for so long that you just know how it all works. And you take the time where you're patient, you put in your dues essentially to learn it on such a deep level like that. And you get to reap the rewards of it at the end. And so many people are already know, are going to look at this interview, and they're going to go like, wow, I need to do what Jerred is doing, but just really pay attention to what he's really doing, because it's not really that he's making money in real estate. He's taking the time to put in the dues to learn it on a deep level, so he knows how to navigate the field better than anyone else. And that can be applied to any niche. And that's really what you're doing. Okay. So let's go back.
Let me speak to that though.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll always come back to this. For anyone that's listening, it's 100% deal flow. It doesn't matter what market or niche or what you're doing. Yeah. If you can control growth, you can grow your way out of anything. The reason people are hurting right now is what they're starting to realize is they don't control growth. They don't make their phone ring. Right. They have no embedded advantage or anything. They're just in a market that has a ton of demand, and they just run around and pick up free deals. Mm-hmm. And then now that COVID hits, they're all like, well, where did all my money go? Yep. And then I would say, well, you never had it to begin with, because you don't have anything. Right. So anybody that's like in sales, or if you're young and like you're just graduating from college or university, I can tell you the number one thing is you're all screwed. The reason you're all screwed is because you can't make your phone ring. Yeah. If you can learn how to make your phone ring, right? If you can learn marketing, video, online, whatever, like figure out what you like to do and you can make your phone ring, you are 100% free.
Yeah.
You're free from all economic cycles. You're free from every manager, every employer. It doesn't matter, because you're going to go work for some of these people. And then what you're going to learn is they have no idea how to generate revenue.
Yeah.
So once you can learn that, it takes a little bit of time, but everything is online. It's learnable. It's not difficult. I mean, you're not trying to explain quantum physics.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just the basics. Learn the game, perfect it, and then have a good work ethic, and then repetition, and you win. And you can win on any business that you choose, whether you're a cafe, you want to sell, coffee, or you're a restaurant or insurance, or you just name the product or service. At the end of the day, if you can drive the leads, you win. And that's just how it's played.
It doesn't matter if you are an employee either. Like the same traits that it takes to be a great entrepreneur, the same traits are what it takes to be a great employee who's going to go up the ranks inside of a business. It just is. It's the work ethic, adding the value to the business, which would be like lead generation or bringing in the sales, like what you said. And it is true. Like I look at what we do, and through building this company, I've learned how to generate leads and to close the leads and to do all of that stuff and generate sales. I really don't have a fear of like where my next paycheck is coming from. And I've told, people on my team before too. And I'm like, even if this company falls apart, I'm just going to start a local business. I'm going to start something else. And that's going to be even easier because you have foot traffic. Like if I wanted to start a coffee shop right now, which I always go back to this because I really do want to start one, it's going to be like shooting fish in a barrel because we understand the online marketing, the online branding of how to drive traffic into a place where all of our competitors are absolutely clueless because they all know how to make the coffee. I'm like, I don't care how the coffee tastes. I know how to drive the people who are going to buy the coffee. And most people don't really.
In the beginning, you shouldn't care about the coffee.
Yeah.
You can go and hire the coffee people. You can go and buy the most expensive coffee around the world. You can go and travel the world and taste every latte you ever want to taste and then come back, right?
Yeah.
But the problem is the best coffee roasters are going to go broke. Yeah. The reason is they can't make their phone ring.
Yeah.
So he who owns the demand, can drive the demand, can make the phone ring, will beat everyone. Think about all the times you said, well, man, I can't believe I didn't know about so-and-so down the street. They do great work. And yet you went and gave your money to somebody that like gave you bad service or bad product, right? Why? How many people have you worked for that you're like, I can't believe this guy or this lady makes money or this business is successful. This place is ridiculous. These people suck. I'm leaving. Okay. Take a step back and say, well, why are they like, why is it generating? The reason is I can tell you, if you start looking at their marketing, and then you'll start to understand, well, oh, the reason I spend money over there is because they're more easily found.
Yeah.
Compared to this person down the street that does great work. Well, that's great. Go do a lackluster business that drives demand, and then you can hire the phenomenal person down the street to work for you.
Yeah.
And then now you have a phenomenal business with phenomenal service. You don't have to have a perfect business or perfect out in the beginning. You just have to get the phone to ring.
Now, and that's why we see businesses with amazing products and amazing services go out of business all the time. Now, I want to be clear though. This isn't to say that you shouldn't care about the product or the service, because there's other things like return business and stuff like that. But what we're saying is the most important thing is the having the best product isn't the thing that makes your business grow. It's the sales, it's the marketing, it's all the other stuff. There's other elements that need to come in to like make the business super successful. Like, you can't have like tell people to come in for a great cup of coffee and then serve them like brown water. It's not going to work eventually, but that isn't the driving force. That isn't the key ingredient is not that having that best product. It's learning to scale that trade.
Sales. Number one is sales. Everything else is fixable. Because if you have, let's say, an okay coffee shop, but you're generating great sales.
Yeah.
Guess what? You can buy better beans.
Yeah.
You can hire better employees. You can hire better people because you have the ability to do it because the sales will buy you out of your stupidity.
Yeah.
Now, but if you have crappy service and a crappy cup of coffee at the end of the day, it's a length that it can run is very short. So that's something that has to be addressed. But if you flip it, if someone wants to take the other side of the argument, but flip it and say, okay, great, I have the best latte ever, but no marketing. How many of those lattes are you going to sell? And then how do you keep the lights on?
Yeah.
So if you don't, so each like scenario, take one side and then deconstruct it by taking the other side. And then I think you'll find the gaps. The gap with the best latte is you have no marketing, you're never going to sell them.
Right.
And then the gap with like a bad latte is, well, man, I got sales, I got people in the door, but man, I really got to up my game on the latte. Great. Go hire the person that makes the best latte in town. What's the deal? Like, right. Now you have the best latte with the best marketing, you win.
Yeah, 100%. And so that's what you started doing. You started learning like the SEO, and you're getting all of these deals, right? And all these guys are now gone that were basically your competition, but you had that digital asset, which was the site that would bring in deals. So where do we go from there? What's the next step after that?
Sure. I did more sites in other cities. And then I had my competitors in other cities hire me to do all of their digital marketing. So now they're paying me monthly to basically what I do in Austin. And then I built other digital assets in other cities. And I did that for another 3 to 5 years.
So you did all the, like, so you learned the skill and you would do it, but then you would actually do it for your competitors, but just not in the cities that you had your websites ranking for. So if you had a website ranking in Austin and someone was in Dallas, you would just do it for them, but in Dallas, right?
Correct.
For like the recurring revenue that you talked about. So I don't know, $1,500 a month or something like that.
Yeah, close enough. $1,000, $1,500 max. And then, but here's the thing, it's intellectual property, which is the best thing to sell. There's nothing better than intellectual property. Yeah. So basically, I just copy what I do in Austin, paste it in Albuquerque, scrub Austin, add Albuquerque. My site now ranks, my new client site ranks in Albuquerque.
Wow.
So now I have this second revenue source that's coming in, and it's reoccurring monthly. So now what that allows me to do is compete even harder in Austin, because now I have even more marketing dollars. And then now, so I do this dirty trick on AdWords, is I just bid all the keywords up to like $80, $100 clicks, because I know my competitors can't pay.
Yeah.
So I just keep raising the bid. I just raise bids, because they don't know what they're doing. And it just blows out their marketing dollars. And then they go broke, they disappear. And then I get more deals.
But it's not really a dirty trick. It's like you're just willing to pay more for a click because you can afford it. You know what you're doing, and you know you're going to make it on the back end when you finally get the deal.
Just have a bigger chip stack.
Yep.
It's in poker, right? If you want to bully, you can bully people with your chip stack. That's basically what you're doing. You're just saying, look, I know a little bit more about AdWords than you do. And then I kind of know that you probably don't know what you're doing, and your marketing budget is there, but I can really push your marketing budget to go broke in AdWords, if you kind of understand AdWords. Well, so the more I got into AdWords, then I was like, well, that's a fair strategy. So why not do it?
Right. And their only way to get deals was a one-dimensional AdWords type of way. They probably weren't doing SEO and have other ways to generate deals. So when that kind of went out the window, they're all gone.
Correct. Because who wants to wait 6, 8, 9, 14 months for your website to rank?
Right.
No one. They're not going to pay the SEO agency with no results for that long of a time. So what they always do is they're like, hey, I want to do AdWords.
Yeah. Great.
Like, come on in. We'd love to have you. They last 60, 90 days. They go away.
Yeah. Okay. So you're just to kind of recap everything, you basically got started with the supplement site, and then you kind of moved into real estate, not knowing what you're doing. Then you kind of learned it. You started buying homes for cash, which then led you to SEO. And now you had SEO revenue, and you were SEOing your own sites and you're SEOing theirs. When you get these deals, are you using your own cash for these deals? Because you're buying it all cash, right?
Yeah. So in the beginning, I used my cash, and then I went to other people's money, because what you find is you run out of money. You can't save enough. You can't generate enough, like in a fast period of time.
Right.
As you can in Austin, average price of a home here is now like 300.
Right.
So let's say you got 2 deals a month, right? I mean, do you really have 600 cash
Right.
every month to buy a home? So what you learn in real estate is you run out of money.
Yeah.
So now you have to figure out how to solve that problem. So what I did was I called friends and family and said, look, I have a $300,000 house. I can buy it for 140 grand. It has $160,000 spread. I'll pay you guys 10% return on your money.
Yeah.
And they would be like, great, we're in. They'd wire the money, send it to closing, buy the house, keep it as a rental, put debt on it, or turn around and just sell it, whichever deal you want to do. The asset allows you to do that. And then you get a track record of raising money and being a very good steward of other people's money. So then everyone that gives you money now goes and tells all of their friends and family that, man, we're getting, phenomenal returns on our cash by doing these real estate deals with Jerred. And then before you know it, people are willing to give you millions of dollars in cash to buy real estate.
Wow.
No questions asked. I mean, I literally have people around the US that wire me hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's insane.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
Like you go from, if you kind of like go back in life, you're like, man, you're like, if I could only make this, or if I could only do this. And, you look at your savings account and you're like, okay, I have $2,500 saved, and wow, I got 15 grand cash in my bank, right? You're like out of college, you're like, man, I'm really successful. And then you get into real estate and you're like, I literally have $900,000 of other people's money at 9:30 a.m. on a Wednesday, right? Like, and you're just laughing because you're like, there's all of this money in my account. And then the other thing is you go and you wire all the money out of the account. So it's hilarious to see like the average statement balance on my bank accounts, because it just
in and out.
it goes like down to 50, up to 900, down to 400, over back to 700. And then the people at the bank laugh because I just come in and they're like, okay, Jerred, what are we doing today? And I'm like, well, I need to send 400 here, 300 here, 200 here, 150 here. Can you do this here? And then it just gets funny.
The person next to you who's like depositing their $1,000 check is like, who the heck is this guy? It's like, 300 over here, 500 over there. It's like, oh my God.
It's comical. It's I don't know. Like, it's weird. It's kind of weird, but just all ones and zeros on a computer screen.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So, you did that for a while. And then, I remember I called you up one day and you're like, oh yeah, I forget why, but it either slowed down or you weren't doing it as much or something. And you told me you're starting a Porta Potty company.
Yeah.
And I was just like, wait, what? And you're like, yeah. So why did you start a Porta Potty company?
So with buying distressed real estate, so the asset that I own is the digital websites, right?
Yep.
But after you buy the deal, what do you have? The only thing you have is you have the home, right?
Yep.
And you have to do something with it. Okay, but then do you have any repeat customers? No. People that are getting ready to be foreclosed on, have bankruptcy, have medical debt, or any of these issues, they're never going to call you again.
Right.
So what you have to understand about that industry is it's a one-time transaction-based business, and that is it.
Right.
So you have the deal, you do the deal, and then you have nothing. So your mind wants it to be linear.
Right.
When you think about it. When you get into your businesses, what you're going to notice is everything is linear, meaning you want 2 deals every month. But that's not how this business operates. It's episodic, which means there are no deals for months.
Yeah.
And then there's an abundance of deals in a short period of time, and then there are no deals.
Right.
So for me, I was like, well, do I really want to wait around for this episode to happen? Because you're burning through cash, right? You just have daily living expenses, and you never know when the next episode is going to occur. You just know that you have to have constant marketing because it will occur.
Right.
So my mind will go from, okay, well, I have these one-time payments, these one-time large cash payouts to myself, but man, it would be great to have recurring revenue. Yeah. So again, I just started looking at different businesses and ideas, and then I came across porta potties, and I was like, well, wait a second. I was like, I mean, in bad economy, you still have to poop and pee. In a good economy, you have to poop and pee. And then I was like, and then the other interesting part is it's run by old, degenerate, like, males. that
Yeah.
have no idea what they're doing. They can't even tell you about online marketing. They're clueless. So I was like, oh, this is great.
So this
Like,
is one of those opportunities you talked about in the beginning where you look for these little niches where the competition just doesn't really know what they're doing, right?
yeah, it's like running. I say it's like running a race. So, but we're going to bet money. So we're going to bet $1 million, right? Do I want to run against you that runs 5-minute miles? No. I want to run against like a morbidly obese human being. Because then if I trip and fall, if I need to stop and get water, or if something doesn't occur, I show up late. So do you see how it gives me flexibility?
Mm-hmm.
So if you're basing your businesses on perfection, you're going to lose because nothing is perfect.
Right.
So you want to compete in businesses or whatever you start, you need to have some flexibility, some room to move, some room to fail, because you're going to fail during this process. But you don't want a single failure to wipe you out.
Right.
So I always try to find, again, that underserved, mismanaged, old way of thinking. Those are the industries that I love. So porta potties, and just to let you know, I failed at the porta potty business. I got out of it. The reason being is it's the amount of debt. So to go and get all of the infrastructure to run the business,
Mm-hmm.
and then you have to manage all of the people to run around and do it. I bailed on it. So failed business, right? Great idea. I ranked the sites. I got the leads, but there wasn't, it was too intensive for me, and it didn't line up with what I wanted to do. So just like chalked it up as a loss and moved on to the next idea.
I gotcha. I didn't know that I thought it worked out. I didn't realize that it had failed.
Got leads, like from a lead point of view and from a revenue point of view, it was working.
Right.
But then it was, okay, well, now do I want to commit? Do I want to go all in? Do I really want to like just grow this thing, buy the inventory, do the things that you need to do to really run this thing, so that so that you can push and grow it? And I just came to the fact, I'm like, I don't want to own these trucks. They're $80,000, $100,000 trucks. I don't want to have to go buy 2 or 3 of them. And then who am I going to hire? Well, the type of people that you're going to get to do that job are kind of day labor.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, well, do I really line up well with day laborers? Meaning like my demeanor and managing them. I don't really micromanage people. I like to give people tons of rope, let them do what they want to do so that they can succeed in, within the context of what we're operating in.
Right.
But I don't want to like grunt, like it's 8 a.m. where it's 8:05, you're 5 minutes late, I'm docking your pay.
Right.
Why are you high? Why, why did you not show up for 2 days? That drives me nuts, and I'm not good in that environment. So that's why I walked away from the.
So you had the self-awareness to be like, this is not for me, and walked away.
Yep.
Okay.
And that's okay, right? And that's what everybody needs to understand. Like, we all have failures. You're going to have ideas, and they're not going to work. Who cares?
Yeah.
Just chalk it up. Just learn from it, and even better, if you learn the process and the skill set, you're better. Right. I ranked the website faster. I spent less money to get the site where it needed to be. Right. So it's not an entire loss. It's just, hey, it's just not something that fits with me, and that's okay. Just move on.
Right. Exactly. And then right after that, I called you and you're like, oh yeah, I'm buying mobile home parks, or I'm flipping mobile homes now. So how did that come about?
Same process. You can boil me down to a very basic and dumb process. So again, underserved market, antiquated, run by a bunch of old people that believe in the yellow pages and rotary dial phones. Phenomenal people to compete against online. Yeah. So then I jump online, I rank a site within 60 days. Yep. Cost me almost nothing to get the site up and ranked. Leads start pouring in instantly. And I get from that site, on a monthly basis, I'll get between 15 and 30 motivated sellers that want to sell their mobile home. And then I get actual park owners that want to sell maybe 4 to 9 parks a year that will call me and say, hey, we'd like to sell the park. But very similar to residential, but just slightly different. Again, underserved, no competition, allows you distressed. But you got to keep in mind, no repeat business. So it's a one-time payout, right? You do the deal and then you're done. Low barrier to entry. You actually don't need a lot of cash compared to single family, and you can sell them way quicker, way easier. less drama than a single family home.
Well, because you were telling me a mobile home is essentially like buying a car. It's just like a little pink slip. There's no deed to anything, kind of like,
Right.
you know, the home buying process. There's like escrow for 30 days, all of that stuff. You don't have to do any of that with mobile homes, right?
Correct. It's the home, the word home is what tricks you. Once you get into it, even though it's a mobile home, manufactured home, they're bought and sold like a car. So they have a title. But the title is nothing more than a sheet of paper, like your car title that two people sign.
Gotcha.
That's it. Like it's very simple. It's very straightforward on how to transact on a mobile home. And the other thing is mobile homes do really well in good economies and in bad economies. They're fairly recession proof because everybody needs a place to live.
Right.
So if you have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath mobile home for 11 grand, people moving in.
Yeah.
Like that's basic math. Are you telling me I can have a home for $11,000?
Yeah.
Yes, great. $11,000 in a grocery bag at the bank with the title in hand, sign, deposit your money, and you're done with the deal.
So what's the spread on these things? What are you picking up for and what are you selling them at?
I bought them for $1 and I've paid as much as I think 28 grand, depending on, how big they are and where they're located. Some of them need a little bit of work and sometimes they need no work. And anywhere from I would say an average take on a mobile home profit is between $5,000 and $15,000. I've never made less than 5.
So
I've never made more than 15, maybe 18-ish.
So are you moving them or are you literally just leaving them in their place? You're getting the title on it and then you're just reselling them at a higher price.
Yeah.
You're leaving them there. You're not moving them.
Yeah. I don't do anything.
Wow.
I do nothing. So I get a lead, I call them and they're like, hey, I have a double wide. I'm like, great. And it's beat, right? Beat up on the inside. I'm like, great. I'm like, give you $2,500 for it. And they're like, okay, I got to move out of town. I'm done. I just need some money to get out of here. I'm like, great, $2,500. Then I turn around. I call my cleaning lady. Her name's Aurora. She'll run out there. She'll clean it. Still beat though, but clean. Okay. Yeah. Then I'll take a whole bunch of photos, put it on Facebook Marketplace for $10,000, $12,500. Okay. And then I'll tell you right now, I get between 10 and 20 leads every day on those mobile homes, every day via Facebook Messenger, nonstop. So as you can imagine, gets a little ridiculous. So then I learned the hard way. So I'm like, okay, this is too crazy, but this is what we're going to do. I'm going to do a 2-hour open house on Saturday. Mm-hmm. So everyone that chimes me says, hey, I want information. I'm like, 2-hour open house Saturday. And I just copy, paste. I don't even get into the conversation. Yeah. Just if you want to buy it, first come, first serve, there's your 2-hour window. And literally rows of cars and people show up on Saturday. They walk it and I take the first offer at full price. And then I'm done. It's sold.
Jeez Louise. And you're only doing this in Austin?
Yeah.
Wow. That's unbelievable. I think I remember I've talked to you about this a few times and I'm like, I want to do this so bad. But then I look at the mobile homes out in California and they're all like $200,000. Like, it's just like, what the heck? Where are these like $2,500 mobile homes that Jerred's talking about? They don't exist in California, at least not in the area of California I'm at. Maybe if I went.
Not in your area. Yeah, maybe east of the 15, but not west of the 5.
Yeah.
I don't think you're going to get one west of the 5.
Yeah.
Or for $2,500.
Yeah. No, doesn't exist. Okay. That's amazing. So, if my memory serves me correct, after the mobile homes, and are you still doing the mobile homes and buying homes for cash right now? Or is this still like an active thing for you or no?
So I sold so here's the beautiful thing about owning digital assets that everybody sleeps on except people in the business is you can sell them. Mm-hmm. You can sell them just like a mobile home and a house. So I put up my Austin website and I sold it. Put up my Dallas website, I sold it. Mm. And then here's the beautiful thing about it. Everybody that doesn't have deals in off-market single family, guess what they do? They call your website begging you to send them deals. So then the only thing you do is say, hey, I'm kind of moving on in life. Would you like to buy my website? Because obviously it works, right? You're calling me twice a month begging for deals. Why don't I just sell it to you?
Yeah.
So then you can turn around and sell the asset that you built, and then you can take that cash and move it into something else, or do whatever you want to do with it. So I've sold the Austin site, I've sold the Dallas site. I love the mobile home biz.
Yeah.
So I maintain that, and I run the leads myself. I work everything my own, and then I pivoted into commercial real estate because of some of the shortcomings that you will eventually figure out about single families.
Okay. And so what was the reason why you got rid of this? Well, like, what were some of those shortcomings? Why did you transition?
So number one is it's a supply and demand curve, and it runs with the business cycle. So as economies get better, your deals become less. You have less deals. Why? Because how many people are really distressed?
Right.
How many people are in bad financial problems when everybody is employed and everybody has money?
Right.
So what you find, but when the supply dwindles, your demand for off-market real estate or your competition grows, because as the economy gets better and better, people get this false sense of being amazing employees and that they don't need their employer because they're phenomenal and they're great. So then they become these like whack entrepreneur wannabe people. And then they go out on their own. And then now you're competing against all these people that have no cash to buy the home, but you're getting bid up. The deals get skinnier, becomes more and more difficult to transact.
Gotcha.
So for me, it was at that point, I was worn out on single families, just kind of done with it. Look, if there was a ton of supply, I'd run back in and buy. Like, I'm not against buying. I just don't feel like right now you're really getting paid to take the risk that you're taking. And again, goes back to that linear and episodic. It's not linear. Like, everyone believes a lot of these businesses are linear. They're not. There's episodes. So at the next episode, I'll buy 10, 20, 30 single families. I have no problem jumping back in the biz and riding the next wave. But right now, you're not getting paid for that. So I started seeing that 2 years ago. So I was looking for a natural way to pivot, but I didn't want to relearn anything. I didn't want to have to go down a crazy rabbit hole where I would have to learn some brand new thing and then try to become somewhat of an expert in it. So I went to commercial because I was like, look, it's real estate, right? It's just slightly different, but same type of, same industry. And then again, same process, right? How do I get my phone to ring?
Well, can we identify what commercial is? Like, you're not actually buying and selling commercial buildings. You're leasing them, right?
Right. So I'm a traditional commercial real estate agent. So I sell services. I do not sell an asset. Only thing I do is I do listings. So put my sign in front of the building, but it's all commercial, no residential. Or we'll do what's called, it's leasing, but the term is called tenant rep. So I'll do tenant rep services as well. So I'm taking no financial risk. I am just selling a service. And then when assets become available because of my previous businesses that I owned, then I'll take advantage of those commercial assets or those single families that come back around.
Gotcha. Okay. So I want to talk about how you blew up this commercial thing, because I was blown away by how much revenue you guys were actually generating. Because it seems maybe a year and a half, maybe even just a year ago, you're like, hey, I'm doing this commercial thing. I'm like, yeah, of course you are. Like, of course you're doing something else. And so you're like, I need to film some videos. So I was like, yeah, sure, come on out. So you flew out here. We spent, I don't know, maybe an hour or so filming some videos. And I told you, here's the topics you need to do. Here's like what I would say. And let's just do it. And we plopped the camera down and you recorded. And you're like, that's it. It's pretty simple. I'm like, yep. You're like, I could just do this at my own place. I'm like, yep. And then, so you kind of like led with that, and you learned how to like put these very simple videos together. And that became your marketing strategy, but in a different way than most people are going to think about. So can you talk about why you started doing the videos and how you're actually using video services to scale your commercial real estate?
Yeah. So number one is just to kind of, I don't want to miss a couple key points. One is clueless when it comes to video.
Yeah.
Clueless. No, like I have no background, no nothing. So for everyone listening, I bought a ticket, stayed at a hotel, and then showed up at Brandon's office worked at Brandon's office until I could get a 2, 3, 4 hour window with Brandon to help me record these videos. So if it's important to you and you want to figure something out, you need to understand that you got to put in the time and the effort to make it happen. And sometimes that means you buy a damn ticket, you fly somewhere, you suck it up, and you figure it out. And you could come home with nothing. It could be a total bust, and that's okay. But it just so happened that I knew a savage when it comes to video, you. So I was like, all right, probably a pretty good chance I can get something halfway decent from this. Showed up, did the video, horrible at it. Even we worked together. And then finally I was like, I don't have an opinion, Brandon. Just, I'm going to screw this up. Just tell me what to do. And then then I can start like working my mind around like your process and like, because you know how to get the phone to ring.
Right.
With video, I have no clue. So I haven't earned the right to have an opinion. So we went through it. So I get my videos from Brandon for everybody and I put them up online and then instantly start slowly, well, I wouldn't say instantly, but start getting leads because the videos, especially in commercial, what I found is they convert. It's not necessarily the video. The traffic on YouTube is not gigantic for commercial real estate. So you're not going to have like 1 million views.
Yeah.
But the people that come to your website and the people that are looking for this information, they find that video and they're just like, I have to talk to this guy. So I get calls from people around the US that watch the videos that you and I did. And literally they'll ask me if I'm an actor and they'll say, are you the person in the video or did you hire that guy? Yeah. I'm like, oh no, that's me. And then instantly they want to give me their business. I don't sell, I don't pitch.
Well, I remember one of the things when you were here was like, Jerred, it's not about the video. Cause you showed me this other company. You're like, look at this other commercial company, look at their videos. They're amazing. They're professional. I said, it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with what the topic of the video is and how you communicate that to them to want to have to work with you. And so like I was rearranging even language. It's like, say it this way. And you're like, okay. And you would say it that way. And then we would look at those other people. I'm like, just go look at their videos, man. Like they have 3 views on it or they have whatever. I can tell you right now, these videos are not converting. And I forget where or how we found this out, but didn't you find out later?
Them. You found them and you're like, Jerred, who's well, we don't have to drop their name, but you're like, who's so-and-so? And I'm like, oh, they're $1 billion commercial real estate organization. Like they're a heavy hitter. And you're like, okay, well, I found this. So we watched it. And then you looked at me and while I looked at you, I said, how much do you think they paid for that? And you're like, I probably would have billed them somewhere between 25 to 35,000 to put all of this together. And they were phenomenal videos. I mean, high quality.
Yeah.
But then you looked at me and you said, but yeah, who are they talking to?
Yeah.
And then I just sat there and stared at you and I was like, they're talking to commercial real estate agents. And then you go, who's your client? And I go, business owners. And then you're like, these don't convert.
Yeah.
And I was like, crap. I'm like, you're right. I was like, there's just no way. I was like, this is nonsense. I was like, what business owner wants to listen to this commercial real estate jargon that it doesn't solve or speak to any of the problems that they're looking to solve?
They were speaking.
That was like the flip. Like that was the game changer. And then that's what gave me the confidence to do more, because I think a lot of people, if you look around, there's some people that are amazing at doing video and marketing and all of these things. And you feel like, well, I can never do something that good. Or, you know, maybe you're not as handsome or attractive as the person is on the video. Or maybe, you know, theirs is high def and yours isn't, right? All of the shortcomings that you're going to talk yourself out of doing it. By working with you, it was like, yeah, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah. And
then we're going to figure it out real quick because I'm going to post these videos and I'm going to know if I get leads or not. Just point blank, I'm going to figure this out. And the minute I post the videos, I think I ran some Facebook traffic to some of them.
Yeah.
Just leads every month. So I was like, boom, I have something. Like
I remember they were speaking to themselves in their own videos. I was like, that's garbage. Why would you speak to yourself? You're not your client. And so you did it, you ran it. But then at that moment, something happened for you. You realized what?
Okay, so these videos start working. And then I'm like, Brandon, I got another one. Brandon, I got another one. Brandon, I got, like, now I have people calling me from states that I don't even live in. And they're like, yeah, we don't want to work with any of those people. We just want to work with you. And I'm like, yeah, but you're in Birmingham, Alabama buying a gym. I'm in Austin. Like, I mean, I'll try my best. So like, we're literally FaceTiming. But then I was like, man, these are so effective that, and this kind of ties into like my SEO and kind of digital marketing background. So I start doing more and more deals. And then I'm like, well, how can I get in front of more and more business owners? How can I do more marketing? How can I get more deal flow is where my mind is going.
Right.
And I said, well, then, man, what do all these business owners need? Like, what's like their biggest issue or their biggest problem? And that is, and what do I hate to do? So I don't cold call. I hate cold calling. I'm horrible at it. I'm not like, it's atrocious. I don't do it because I stink at it.
Yep.
But I got to get in front of these people. So I flip and I'm like, well, why don't I just give away everything? So then I was like, great, I'm going to buy a video studio. So I email you, you send me the items. I go and get it. I practice my own videos here. So now I have a video studio at my house. I can cut all my own videos on my own. And then I start offering the video as a service to businesses. I put it out via, I leverage the Chamber of Commerce. And what happens is now I get all of these businesses to hit me up and say, hey, we want to leverage video for our business. So then I go and I meet with the businesses and I help them create video.
But you did it for free.
For free.
That's the key thing. That's the trick is you're like, I want more, like my client is business owners. They're going to be the ones leasing. How do I get more business owners in front of me so I can talk to them? Oh, I know how to do video. They're all going to want video. I'm just going to offer video for free. So now what you're doing is you're probably pissing off all of these videographers through Austin who are trying to like sell videos. And you're like, no, it's free over here. Just come over. And everyone's like, what the heck is he doing? And you're like, oh, I'm lead generating. It takes me a couple minutes or like 30 minutes to like cut a couple videos. You send it to your virtual assistant who then edits and you throw it back. But now you're literally in front of hundreds of business owners who are all going to need what? Commercial leases. Genius. Freaking genius.
Yes. So then I go with the video. So here's 40,000 foot view, right? So I'm in a broker meeting. Okay. So my brokers, we're all talking. Everyone's like, I have no leads. I have nothing. So then they're all like, well, you should cold call. You should, work your network, your sphere of influence. And I just sit on mute laughing because I was like, none of you are going to do that. And B, I've only met very few inside sales reps that are phenomenal at what they do. And they are typically improv and comedians is because they're really good at being denied. As you can imagine, telling jokes in front of people that don't laugh, humiliating, right?
Yeah.
So those are the only like inside sales guys I've ever met that were just savages. I mean, that could just generate revenue and leads, and that's not me. So I was like, well, man, but I got to get in front of these people. So I have to lead with value. So then I'm like, well, if you're going to cold call, none of these business owners want to talk to you.
Right.
You're just annoying them.
Yeah.
Okay, but if you go and you give them free videos, they'll stand in line.
Yeah.
And then after you give them the free video, they believe that they owe you.
Yeah.
And then let's say they want another round of videos and another round of videos. Okay, well then what do all these business owners own or do is they're all in commercial leases or they own commercial real estate.
Right.
So now you have a nonstop flow of leads that basically cost you nothing to generate except your time.
Yeah.
And if you're starting out and you don't have a book of business, and you don't have tremendous lead flow, then you should have plenty of time on your hands.
Yeah.
That's it.
This is the thing I love about you is it's always outside the box thinking. It's always like, how do I generate the flow? And here's the thing, it still goes back to your philosophy, which like I guarantee you, they come in, you do the work, you put in your time, you give them their videos. You're still not going to see a deal from that person 12 months, 14 months. It's the same philosophy that you've always lived by when you've built out every single business that you've done, which is put in the work, you do it non-traditional ways, or you learn a certain skill to bring in the deals, and then you wait. You like plant the seed, and then you let the seed grow until it's time to harvest. And again, that's something that most people just will never do. They won't do it.
Correct.
And not only that, what you started doing too is you started offering to put on like social media classes to the Chamber of Commerce, right? Like you would go to different chambers and you would just say, hey, I'm going to come in and do a class. So you were getting in front of them by putting on classes for free where normally experts would charge them to come in and do a presentation, right?
Right, 100%. So I do seminars with the Chamber of Commerce. I do the business videos. So if you're not sure how to start or where to kind of get, a foothold, start with the Chamber of Commerce. It's super easy. You don't have to go with an expensive one or a major one. Just find one and then cut your teeth there. Create the programs to drive your leads and just lead with value. And then I have a SEO map AdWords class that I do on Eventbrite every Thursday at 9 a.m. And again, I just have business owners just show up and I'll tell them exactly what's broken on their stuff, what they're not doing right, what they're doing wrong, what they're doing right, how to fix it. And then it's just nonstop flow of getting in front of business owners that want to talk to you. And they'll spend an hour with me on a Zoom call. Yeah. So you're building that rapport. So, and then they start seeing the results from what you're telling them. Then they really like you. Then they feel like they owe you something. So then when the lease renewal comes up, hopefully they'll remember you and then you'll get that lead. Or if they're thinking about expanding to additional locations, well, guess what? They're going to need some digital marketing, right?
Right.
And they're also going to need some buildings that they're going to have to lease. So you'll get all of those expansions. And then on top of that, you'll also get listings. So within the first 30 days of me doing this, I scored an $800,000 listing in Kyle, Texas. That was it. Not one phone call, not nothing, just rolled in, said, hey, this is what I can do. I can help all of you. Happy to show you exactly how you do this. No cost, no nothing. And the guy was like, man, I need to sell my automotive shop. And I just like that, you're just willing to give and you're not asking anybody for anything.
Yeah.
That's it. Like it's not, what I do is not difficult. It's just, you think slightly different, lead with value and don't be a taker. Yeah. And I think if you can flip into just giving, sure, it's hard in the beginning. It's not instantaneous, not always, but if you stick with it and you grow it, the other thing is you have an edge. You have a real legitimate competitive edge. So look at me and then look at other tenant reps in Austin, Texas. I can tell you right now, not one of them do video, not one. And I know none of them offer video to any of their businesses.
Yeah.
So now with COVID and everything going on, who do you think has deal flow and who do you think is sitting in a cubicle right now, staring at a phone, waiting for it to ring with no money in their pocket? Great. So if you really want to get into it, how long do you think that they can last in that cubicle?
Yeah.
Not paying their bills.
Not long.
90 days? Cool. Now my competition is going to zero. My deal flow continues to grow. So now even though the pie might shrink in an economic, uncertainty, but your competition is shrinking at an exponential rate. So even though you're in bad times, your competition is going away, which opens up more business. Even though there's less business, there's more business for you to extract.
Yeah.
And who do you think they're going to work with? Some annoying person that you think somebody right now after COVID wants to hear a tenant rep ask them about their lease renewal on the phone? No, they're trying to pay their bills.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to cuss you out. But if you call them or you interact with them, you're like, look, we can do 5-10 videos right now and generate more leads. I can fix your Google Maps. I can fix your AdWords. I can show you exactly what to do on your SEO to make your site rank higher. Now that business owner loves you.
Yep. And those are all things you've learned along the way. These are all things that you learn by trying it and doing it, by not worrying about failing, being self-aware to know when it's time to move on, by learning the journey and having that amazing work ethic. And so, Jerred, this has been amazing. I'm so grateful that you took the time to come on to our podcast and share. It's always great talking with you because you have such a unique way of looking at things. And I hope, if you are listening to this episode and you are a parent, or maybe you are a kid, a teenager, or someone in their 20s who's trying to look for different ways to make money without going the traditional way of college, to know that there's a lot of opportunity out there. And what Jerred is telling you is it holds true through almost any business. And we have to understand at the end of the day, all money is generated through business. Celebrities, sport athletes, they would not be paid what they were paid if they didn't have a business. The government would not exist if it wasn't for business paying taxes, if it wasn't for businesses hiring people who then go pay taxes. Business generates everything. And if you really listen to what Jerred is telling you, he gave you the keys and the traits that you need to be able to go start any business and generate your own money on any terms that you want. So Jerred, again, thank you so much. And is there any last words that you would want to say, or anywhere where people can go to learn more about you or connect with you?
Yeah. So instead of telling the websites, I hopefully just put them in the description or give somebody a link. But if people can understand this, it's commercialleaselocators.com. So if you want to reach out or if you guys have questions, I'm always available. Only thing I ask is don't waste my time. So if you have something and you need help with something, or you have some questions or ideas and you just don't know who to turn to, you just don't have people to lean on, I am super easy to find online. You can call me. I'm more than happy to chat with you. I'm more than happy to jump on a Zoom call. And if I can get you pointed in the right direction or, get you going in life, I'm more than happy to help out.
Awesome. Cool. Thanks, Jerred. I appreciate you, man. And if you guys enjoyed this episode, let us know. Leave us a 5-star review on iTunes and hop into the New Generation Entrepreneur Facebook group and let us know your biggest takeaway from today's episode. We'll see you guys on the next one. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out another episode of the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, go below, hit the subscribe button, and make sure you click on that bell icon and get notified every time we drop a new episode. Now, if you're looking for the show notes, we have them linked underneath this video, as well as our social media handles and some links to free training and offers that we drop from time to time to help you guys even further. So go check those out if you're interested, and thank you so much for tuning in to the New Generation Entrepreneur Podcast.